morning, friends. Welcome back. Today, we are going to start with the next topic of this chapter, that is operation on real numbers. Right now, as we have discussed in the previous topic about the irrational numbers, about converting irrational numbers to the decimal expansions, and the type of decimal expansions that we get by dividing the rational numbers that we are having. Right. So, coming to the last topic and the next topic, that means next and last both, that is operation on real numbers. Real numbers actually means, we discussed this earlier also, that real numbers actually means the mixture or combination of all the number systems, that is the natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers, and irrational numbers. This all combine and we get a new system, that is real numbers. Now we know that we can divide, let's say we can divide 10 by 3, right? We can divide this number 10 by 3. We can also divide this number 7 by 8, and we can also divide this number 1 upon 7. You can see here that all these numbers, that is in the numerators and denominators, are all now natural numbers here, right? These are all the natural numbers. But what if we get such number like root 3 by 2? So is it possible for us to divide like root 3 upon 2? What is the value of root 3? For instance, if we don't know the value of root 3, then how can you divide that root 3 upon 2? So it is not possible, right? What if I am given root 3 into root 5? For now, we don't know that what is the value of root 3 and root 5 what? Then what will be the value of root 3 into root 5? That also we don't know. What if I am having 7 upon root 2? Right? These are all in the first case. In the first case, we were having all the numbers as integers. As integers, that means they were all the natural numbers, for instance here. But whereas in the second case, we are not having all the numbers, that means in the numerator and denominator we are not having these all as integers. Actually they are some irrational numbers and the others are the integers. That means this root 3, root 3, root 5, root 2 are all irrational numbers, and this 2 and 7 are the integers. So in this topic, friends, we are going to study about those kind of numbers which we deal with irrational numbers mostly, right? So irrational numbers actually means the numbers which cannot be shown in the form of p by q, or which cannot be represented in the form of p by q, are known as irrational numbers. So we are going to deal with such kind of illustrations or such kind of examples which deals with the irrational numbers, and again for which we can apply the properties of the integers or natural numbers, right? So let us discuss this, and we shall start this topic with some examples here. I'm having two or three kind of example. The first one is, if I am asked to add, right? If I am asked to add 2 root 2 plus 5 root 3 and root 2 minus 3 root 3, right? What I am asked to do here is, I am asked to add this 2 root 2 plus 5 root 3 and root 2 minus 3 root 3. Then the second one, I am asked to subtract. Subtracting 6 root 5 minus 3 root 7 from 7 root 5 plus 5 root 7. The third one I am having is to multiply. Multiply 6 root 5 and 2 root 5. See, these are the simple multiplications for now. And the last one is divide 8 root 15 by 2 root 3. Right? See, for now, formally we are having these 4 questions here. The first one is to add, second one is to subtract, the third one is to multiply, and the fourth one is to divide. So in this case, is friends, for understanding this perfectly, let us take a number that is 16 plus 34. We know that how to add two real numbers which are actually the natural numbers, right? Or you can also say them as integers. How to add this kind of two numbers? So we simply add them like we did in third or fourth standard or first or second standard. 6 plus 4 is 10, 3 plus 2 is 5. So we got a number or a answer as 50. But when we are dealing with such kind of examples, at that time what we are going to do? At that time we are going to simply add them. That means the solution here is 2 root 2 plus 5 root 3 plus root 2 minus 3 root 3. Is it clear? So what we have done here is we have just added them both. That means this is our first one and this is our second one. First one, that means the first number, and second one, that means the second number. We have simply added them here right now. Okay, so to understand it clearly, let us remove these brackets. Note that friends, if I had a subtraction, that means the minus sign here, then the sign inside the bracket would be changed of all the numbers. So if that is plus, that would have become minus, and if that is minus, then that would have become plus. But here, as the sign is plus, there is no need to change the sign inside the bracket. Okay, we will see this in the second example. That becomes 2 root 2 plus 5 root 3 plus root 2 minus 3 root 3. Now here you will understand this question as what you did with the variables. You might have studied a chapter here where there we were dealing with some variables here, right? So simply, first of all, count how many root 2's are there. The number that is written with root 2, that means in front of root 2, is known as the coefficient of root 2. Here it is written 2 root 2, that means we are having 2 root 2's. 2 root 2's, that means there are two numbers or two quantity of root 2. Here it is only one quantity of root 2. Here it is 5 quantity of root 3, and here it is minus 3 quantity of root 3. So if I say that I am having 10 apples, that means 10 into root 2. Let root 2 be number of apples, right? 10 apples, that means 10 root 2. Here I am having 2 root 2. So first of all, we shall count how many root 2's we are having. 2 plus 1, 3, right? So that is equals to 3 root 2 plus 5, but here it is minus 3. So now we are not going to add them, but we are going to subtract them in fact. So that is 5 root 3 minus 3 root 3, and that is equals to 2 root 3. Is it clear? So the answer to the question is 3 root 2 plus 2 root 3. You can simply add them from the question itself. See friends, these questions are being asked rather than in 1 mark or 2 mark questions, most probably, right? So you are not going to write down all these steps. You can rather them add it here. 2 root 2 plus root 2, that is 3 root 2. 5 minus 3, that is 2 root 3. Note that friends, you are not going to write down this root 3 plus root 3, or here this root 3 plus root 3 as root 6. Note that you cannot write it like that. Why? Because these root 3's are irrational numbers, and when it comes to addition of irrational numbers, you cannot simply add the irrational numbers like that we do in real numbers, right? So the conclusion behind this is you are just going to add the numbers that are written in front of the irrational numbers. Suppose that we have written 2 root 2, that means there are 2 root 2's, and thus we get that 2 root 2's to be added with this root 2. Here see, there is no number present with root 2, so we shall consider that as 1. So that is 2 root 2 plus 1 root 2, and that becomes 3 root 2. Okay friends, so that is about the addition. Let us subtract this here. Subtraction, that means we are going to subtract the first from the second. So you are going to do second minus 1. So that is 7 root 5 plus 5 root 7 minus 6 root 5 minus 3 root 7. Is it clear? So now see, in the first case we had a plus sign here between the two brackets. Now we are having a minus sign here between the two brackets. So rather than simply opening the brackets, we shall now change the sign. But this sign will be changed of the second bracket only. The sign of the second bracket only will be changed. The sign of the first bracket, that means the numbers that are written in the first bracket, will remain as it is. So that becomes 7 root 5 plus 5 root 7 minus, here it is plus, that plus will become minus 6 root 5. Here it is minus, so minus and minus will become plus, and that becomes 3 root 7. Okay, now comes to the simple addition again. 7 root 5 minus 6 root 5. So that is 7 minus 6, and that is 1 root 5. That is only root 5. Plus 5 plus 3, that means 5 root 7 plus 3 root 7, and that becomes 8 root 7. Good. So that is the answer to this question. Okay. So that is root 5 plus 8 root 7. Now I think you might be clear with this addition and subtraction. So that is quite an easy one, right? Now we are going to come to the important two questions where we are going to multiply and we are going to divide the two irrational numbers. So multiplying this both means 6 root 5 into 2 root 5, right? Now as I said here that this 2 root 2 simply means 2 times root 2. So if I say that I am having a number 2 root 2, this can be written as 2 into root 2. 2 times root 2, that means 2 into root 2. If I say that the cost of 1 pen is twice the cost of 1 eraser, that means the cost of a pen will be 2 times the cost of eraser, right? So if I take 2 eraser at a time, that will be equals to 1 pen. Okay, so that here it means 2 times root 2 or 2 root 2. The same way we are going to write down here also. This 6 root 5 here actually means 6 into root 5, sorry, multiplied by 2 into again root 5, right? Now look at this friends, that all the numbers are in multiplication, so we shall simply multiply them, right? That is 6 into 2 is 12, multiplied by root 5 into root 5, that will be root 5 square. Okay, now see this friends, the square and square root can be cancelled here, so you can simply write it as 12 into 5, which is equals to 60. Okay, so the answer to this question, multiplying 6 root 5 by 2 root 5 or 6 root 5 and 2 root 5 is 60. Again you shall understand friends that you can multiply the same irrational number, or if you multiply different irrational number, the answer would be different, that you will not get it as same. Suppose for example, if I write here in this box, like here I have written root 5, so that is root 5 into root 5, that is root 5 square, and which is equals to 5. But rather than if I write it like root 10 into root 3, that will be not root of 10 into 3, that is 30. You cannot cancel out the square roots here. These square roots can be cancelled out when you are having the same irrational numbers. So you can now write like root 5 into root 5 is equals to 5. But here see, in the next case we are having both the square roots as different numbers, right? The first one is root 10 and the second one is root 3. So how to write down? you are going to see again they both are in multiplication. So first make a multiplication of these two numbers and simply get the common square root here. Is it clear? So root 10 into root 3, that is square root of 10 into 3, and which is equals to square root of 10 into 3 is 30. So you get root 10 into root 3 is root 30. Whenever you are having two different irrational numbers with square roots, you can simply multiply them and make the common square root. Suppose if I am having, for example, root 6 into root 5, root 6 into root 5, so again you can also make it like square root of 6 into 5, which is again square root of 30, right? So this irrational numbers works like when you are having two different irrational numbers, at that time the multiplication of those two numbers is equals to multiplication of numbers and making the common square root. Whereas if we are having the same irrational numbers, that means root 5 into root 5, root 3 into root 3, root 2 into root 2, or anything like that, at that time you will write any one of the number and remove the square root. That is the simple logic. Is it clear? So that is what, how we can multiply the irrational numbers. So friends, again 6 root 5 into 2 root 5, that is 6 into root 5 into 2 into root 5. 6 into 2 is 12 and root 5 into root 5 will be 5, or root 5 square. Root 5 square, that means root 5, no, root and 2 or square, this both will be cancelled and hence we get this as 60. Is it clear? Okay. Now in the next example, we are having to divide here. That means 8 into root 15 multiplied by 2 into root 3. Okay. Now this root 15, as we discussed, can be written as square root of 5 into 3 divided by 2 into root 3. Yes or no? As we discussed in the previous example here, that I have written that square root of, I have written over there that square root of 10 into square root of 3 was the common square root of 10 into 3, and that was equals to root 30, right? Now we are going to follow the reverse process here. In the reverse process, I am having root 15. So first of all I shall write root 15 as square root of 5 into 3, and then I shall split the square roots, that is 8 into root 5 into root 3 divided by 2 into root 3. So you can cancel out this root 3 and 2 to 8 by 4, and hence the answer here is 4 root 5. Okay. Note that friends, here it is 4 into root 5, that becomes 4 root 5. So these are the simple operations. These are the simple operations on the real numbers. In fact, these are the simple operations on the irrational numbers that we can simply follow here, right? So adding the irrational numbers, subtracting the irrational numbers, multiplying the irrational numbers, and dividing the irrational numbers. You can take a brief look here, then we shall go to some of the conclusions, some of the formulas that are being given in the textbook. Okay. So now friends, we are going to look at some of the formulas here that I am having based on these 4 examples, and then we shall conclude that what we have studied here. See, in these examples we have studied here that are important results. The first one is square root of two numbers, that is a into b, that can be written as square root of a multiplied by square root of b, right? Square root of two numbers a into b can simply be written as square root of a into square root of b. Then we can write the same thing in division also, that square root of a upon b is equals to square root of a divided by square root of b, right? Then the third thing that we can write down here is, if we are having two numbers square root of a plus square root of b multiplied by square root of a minus square root of b, then this can be written as a minus b. I'll explain this how here. First of all, let me write down. Then the fourth one, if it is square root of a plus square root of b whole square, that becomes a plus 2 root ab plus b. And the fifth one that we have is, if it is a plus root b into a minus root b, then this can be written as a square minus b. Now let us understand this 5 important results that we got here, because this 3, 4 and 5 will be helpful to you in solving the next sums. Okay, so the first one we already discussed here by taking an example, that if we are having root 15 that we took in the last example here previously, so this can be written as square root of 5 into 3, which is equals to square root of 5 into square root of 3, right? So that is about the first one. Similarly, second one also we can write it like, if I'm having this as square root of 7 by 3, so this can be written as square root of 7 upon square root of 3. Now coming to this important here, the third, fourth and fifth, I'm going to derive the third, fourth and fifth equations here, and then we shall move further with the examples. The third one here, it says root a plus root b into root a minus root b. Now you might have studied in the previous classes that how to multiply two complex numbers, or you can also say compound numbers, term to term, right? You might have studied the factorization method, or the factorization topic. In that factorization topic we used to study about how to multiply two terms at a time. So these two terms here will be multiplied, so that is root a into root a minus root a into root b, again that is plus root a into root b. Yes or no? And this is plus minus minus, sorry, that will be root b into root b. So friends, minus root a root b and plus root a root b can be cancelled out here. So these both terms can be simply cancelled out. So the remaining thing is square root of a into a minus square root of b into b. What is a into a? That is square root of a square minus b into b is square root of b square. Again square root of a square, that is equals to a minus square root of b square is equals to b. So that is a minus b that we get here in this property number 3, or result number 3. Is it clear, friends? So this is how you can multiply these two terms, root a minus root b and root a plus root b, and get the answer a minus b. Okay. Now deriving this fourth one, the fourth one is square root of a plus square root of b whole square. Again you might have come with a formula in the previous classes, that what is a plus b whole square. That leads us to a formula, that is a square plus 2ab plus b square, right? A square plus 2ab plus b square. So writing down here in the same format, that is root a whole square plus 2 root a into root b plus root b whole square, right? This is a, that means the first term, square of the first term, plus 2 into first term into second term plus square of the second term. So that becomes root a square, that is a, plus 2, this will be multiplied here, that is a into b, plus square root of b square is simply b. So that what gives us the result number 4, that is a plus 2 root ab plus b square. Is it clear, friends? So in this way we can derive number 4 also, and the fifth one is exactly similar to that of the third one, but in the third one we are having root a plus root b, and here we are having a plus root b. So that will give us a square minus b. Take a look. Okay. Now, if that is clear here, then let us solve some of the sums based on this important results number 3, 4 and 5, so that we can clearly understand how this is applicable. So I am keeping this results here. I am just removing these derivations so that you can understand this topic here itself, right? See friends, there is no need to complicate this topic. This is the simplest topic of this chapter. There is no need to complicate this. Rather than making this complicated, we shall simply keep the topic as it is so that we can understand it clearly. And these questions are sure short, right? Because the questions related to this topic are asked in the examination, so that we can come to know that how to solve the topic. Let us understand the illustrations. The first one I am having the examples. The first one I am having here is 5 plus root 7 into 2 plus root 5. 5 plus root 7 into 2 plus root 5. Okay, so that is of the kind of example where we have now to multiply the terms here, because that is not any of the kind of this important result, but this kind of this kind of sums you have already studied in the previous classes, where we used to multiply the terms of two different numbers given to us. So here what we can write it, multiplying these two, that is 5 into 2 equals to, we shall start the sum with equals to 5 into 2 plus 5 into root 5 plus root 7 into 2, that is 2 root 7 plus root 7 into root 5. See friends, whenever you write any of the numbers, that means any of the irrational numbers, and when you come across this kind of multiplication, that is 7 into 2, don't write it like root 7 into 2. You will always write the number 2 root 7. You will always write the real number, or you will always write the integer before the irrational number. Note that friends, you will always write the integer before the irrational number. So continuing with the sum here, that is 5 into 2 10 plus 5 root 5 plus 2 root 7 plus root 35. Okay, so the answer to this question will be limited here to this step, because you cannot further simplify. Now as we said, we cannot add these two numbers. Which two numbers? That is 5 root 5 plus 2 root 7. Why? Because these numbers are not containing the same irrational number, right? These numbers, both the terms are not containing the same irrational number, and if they don't contain the same irrational number, they cannot be added. Addition on the irrational numbers are possible when and when you are having the same irrational numbers. That means adding 2 root 5 plus 5 root 5, that becomes 7 root 5. But if you are to add 2 root 5 plus 5 root 2, then that is not possible, because the first number has a irrational number root 5 and the second one has a irrational number of root 2. So here it is root 5 and here it is root 7, so you cannot add them. Don't make this friends as 5 plus 2 7 root 12. Huh? That is not possible. So that is limited up to this step. The second example that I'm having of the same kind is again 5 plus root 5 into 5 minus root 5, right? 5 plus root 5 into 5 minus root 5. So which of the properties can you apply here is the last one. So this can simply be written as 5 square minus root 5 square, or 5 square minus 5. So that is 5 square, it is 25, minus root 5 square is 5, and the answer is 20. Is it clear, friends? So that is 5 plus root 5 into 5 minus root 5, that is equals to 20. The first one, see friends, had a compound number where we had one real number, sorry, one integer and three of the irrational numbers. Okay, let me again solve one more of the example, that is root 3 plus root 7 whole square. Root 3 plus root 7 whole square, right? Root 3 plus root 7 whole square, that is I think the fourth property or the fourth result that we have written over here. So that becomes here root 3 square plus 2 into root 3 into root 7 plus root 7 whole square. What is root 3 square? 3 plus 2 into root 7 into 3, or you can simply write down 3 into 7 plus what is root 7 square? That is 7. So writing down 3 plus 7, that is 10, plus 2 root 21. So the answer here becomes 10 plus 2 root 21. Is it clear, friends? So again applying this fourth result here, we can simply get 3 plus 2 into 3 plus 2 into square root of 3 into 7 plus 7. So 3 plus 7 is 10 and 2 root 3 into 7 is 21. Okay, friends? So here in this way we can solve this sums here. Now again, let us solve some more of the examples based on this results now. I think you might have written this results, and if you have not written, then you can also copy down from the textbook. The textbook gives you all the sums that we practice here, but sometimes the sums that we practice here are not solved. Now coming to the fourth one, that is square root of 11 plus square root of 7 into square root of 11 minus square root of 7. So again, that is of which result? The third one, I think, right? That is equals to square root of 11 square minus square root of 7 square. That is 11 minus 7, which is equals to 4. So the answer is 4 here. Okay. Let me now write down an example here, that is 3 plus root 3 into 2 plus root 2. I'm having this example here, 3 plus root 3 into 2 plus root 2. Can you solve this by yourself? Try to solve it. I'm solving it here on the board also. 3 plus root 3 into 2 plus root 2. So first of all, we shall multiply the first to first, that is 3 into 2 plus 3 into root 2 plus root 3 into 2 plus root 3 into root 2. Okay, now writing down as 3 into 2 equals to 6 plus 3 into root 2, that is 3 root 2, plus 3 root 3 into 2, that is 2 root 3, plus root 3 into root 2 is root 6. So as we discussed in the second sum here, sorry, in the very first sum here, you cannot now further simplify this. Why? Because this is an integer here, these are the irrational numbers, so you cannot simply add the irrational numbers which are having different irrational properties. That means here it is root 2, here it is root 3, and here it is root 6. So you cannot simply add them. Neither can you add this 6 to the given terms. So this must be the answer to your question, right? That is 6 plus 3 root 2 plus 2 root 3 plus root 6. Now again I'm having one more, 3 plus root 3 into 3 minus root 3, right? 3 plus root 3 into 3 minus root 3. Now you must get the direct answer here. So that is equals to 3 square minus root 3 whole square. What is 3 square? 9 minus root 3 whole square is 3, and hence the answer is 6. Is it clear, friends? That was the fifth result that we have written over there. Let me solve one or two more of the same kind. That is root 5 plus root 2 whole square. Root 5 plus root 2 whole square, that means a plus b whole square, or the fourth property, that or the fourth result, that is root 5 whole square plus 2 into root 5 into root 2 plus root 2 whole square. Yes or no? What is root 5 whole square? That is equals to 5 plus 2 into square root of 5 into 2 plus root 2 square is 2. So 5 plus 2 becomes 7 plus 2 into root 10. So that is the answer, 7 plus 2 root 10. Is it clear, friends, everyone? Okay, one more. I think this might be the last one, rather than solving much and wasting some time here, because these are all of the same kind of sums, and same kind of sums make you bored. That means if you don't practice this kind of sums, you might come to a thing that, sir, I know all these sums now, what to do next? But note that, friends, when you start solving these kind of sums, you might know that actually this kind of sums are not helpful for you to solve the examples, right? Simply here you can write it like root 5 whole square minus root 2 whole square, right? Because that is the third property, that is square root of a plus square root of b into square root of a minus square root of b. So that is root 5 square is equals to 5 minus root 2 square is equals to 2, which is equals to 3, right? So the answer to this question, root 5 plus root 2 into root 5 minus root 2 is equals to 3. Is it clear, friends? Now these were all the sums that were related to the properties, or that were related to the results that we have written previously. The first one was square root of a into b equals to square root of a into square root of b. The second one was square root of a upon b is equals to square root of a upon square root of b. The third one was square root of a plus square root of b into square root of a minus square root of b, that is equals to a minus b. The fourth one was square root of a plus square root of b whole square is equals to a plus 2 square root ab plus b. And the last one is a plus square root b into a minus square root of b is equals to a square minus b. So these were all the sums that were related to those 5 results, right? Now coming to the next kind of sums, actually this is not a topic here, this all comes under the topic of operation on real numbers only, but these are the next kind of sums where you might deal with some of the sums like this: 1 by root 2. The second one is 1 upon 2 plus root 3. The third one here is 1 upon root 5 plus root 2. And the fourth one is 1 upon 5 minus, root 7 minus 2. This is the topic that is known as rationalizing the denominator, right? That is known as rationalizing the denominator. Rationalizing the denominator simply means you are not going to have any of the irrational numbers present in the denominator. These four examples that I have written here on the board are having some of the irrational numbers present in the denominator. You can check it out, friends. The first one has root 2 here. The second one has root 3 present here. The third one has root 5 and root 2 both. And the fourth one has root 7 present here. So, what we are going to do is we are going to simply remove these irrational numbers from the denominator. Now, to remove these irrational numbers from the denominator, we need to multiply by a term that looks exactly same as this one in the denominator, but there is a slight difference of the sign. Okay. Now, when you are having simple numbers, that is 1 upon root 2, at that time you are not going to change the sign. That means you are going to simply write 1 upon root 2, which is multiplied by root 2 in both the numerator and denominator, and that becomes 1 into root 2, that is root 2, upon root 2 into root 2, that is root 2 square. That can be written as root 2 upon 2. Now again, don't split the numerator and cancel out, because that will lead you to nowhere. Now you can see, friends, here that this denominator present in the answer in this box has no irrational number present. That means this is a valid. This method is actually known as rationalizing the denominator. Rationalizing the denominator, that means we are not going to have any of the irrational numbers present in the denominator. So that was a simple kind of example. Now let us deal with one more example that is somewhat of the complex kind. That is 1 upon 2 plus root 3. Now, again, as I said, we are going to multiply the number that is present in the denominator with a slight change. Again, in the numerator and denominator, both. That means here we had root 2. We simply multiplied by root 2 and root 2 in the numerator and denominator. That leads us to an answer that is root 2 upon 2. But what if in this kind of examples? In this kind of examples, we are going to take the whole term from the denominator. The whole term. The term that is present in the denominator, we will take that whole term out and we shall simply change the sign from the center of that term. So here if it is 2 plus root 3, then this can be written as 2 minus root 3. Yes or no? 2 minus root 3. That means the sign, note that, friends, the sign of the second term only and only of the second term, that means not the first term. The sign of the second term is changed. If it is plus, it will be changed to minus, and if it is minus, it will be changed to plus. Here, friends, the second term has a sign plus. I'm not talking about the irrational number. Note that, friends. Right? I'm not talking about the irrational numbers. I'm talking about the sign of the second term. So the second term here is plus root 3, that will be changed to minus root 3. So the answer here goes like 1 into 2 minus root 3, that is simply 2 minus root 3 divided by. This is now, it goes like this, 2 plus root 3 into 2 minus root 3. So I think here in the denominator we can apply the fifth property. The fifth result that we have written here previously, that is equals to 2 minus root 3 divided by 2 square minus root 3 square, right? And that gives me the final answer 2 minus root 3 upon 4 minus 3, that is 2 minus root 3 upon 1, which is equals to 2 minus root 3. This is the answer. Okay, friends. So you can now say here that the term we had was 1 upon 2 plus root 3. The question we had was 1 upon 2 plus root 3. After rationalizing the denominator, we got the answer as 2 minus root 3. So the final answer here is 2 minus root 3. That is the answer of 1 upon 2 plus root 3. Again, I am having one more example here. 1 upon root 5 plus root 2. So simply this can be written as root 5 plus root 2 multiplied by, what did I say here in this step was simply changing the sign of the second term. The second term here is root 2, which is plus. So now we shall multiply with those terms which are having minus sign, that is root 5 minus root 2. See friends, the irrational numbers are not being changed. What the thing changed here is simply the sign of the second term is changed. So that is 1 upon root 5 plus root 2 into root 5 minus root 2 upon root 5 minus root 2. So that is equals to 1 into the numerator, that is root 5 minus root 2 upon, again you are having the third result here, that is root 5 square minus root 2 square. Or if you don't understand it, simply write down one more step here, that is root 5 plus root 2 into root 5 minus root 2. So that is equals to root 5 minus root 2 upon root 5 square minus root 2 square, that is square root of 5 minus square root of 2 upon 5 minus 2. That gives us square root of 5 minus square root of 2 upon 3, and that is actually the answer of this question, right? That is square root of 5 minus square root of 2 upon 3. So that is the answer of this given question. Now coming to the fourth one, here what I am having is 1 upon root 7 minus 2, right? 1 upon root 7 minus 2. So that gives me 1 upon root 7 minus 2 multiplied by root 7 plus 2 upon root 7 plus 2, right? As I said, we shall look at the sign of the second term and we shall change it. In example number 2 and 3 we had the signs of the second term as plus, but now in this question we had the sign of the second term as minus, so this will be changed to plus. That gives us root 7 plus 2 upon root 7 minus 2 into root 7 plus 2. See friends, this is the important result number 5. Result number 5, again this was same, but here we just have the numbers in the reverse manner. So that is root 7 plus 2 upon root 7 square minus 2 square. So that is equals to root 7 plus 2 upon 7 minus 4, and that is root 7 plus 2 by 3. So that is the answer. Okay friends, so this was the sums about how to rationalize the denominator, right? This was the sums about how to rationalize the denominator. Okay, note this down, then we shall solve some more of the same kind. Okay friends, okay, let me erase this, then let us practice some more. Then you can also make some more practice by taking out the sums from the textbook, or you can also use the practice book or exemplar what is available to you here from the for the practice purpose. Then the next questions I'm having here, the fifth one, that is 5 upon root 3 minus root 5. Sorry, I made a bracket here. The sixth one is 1 upon 7 plus 3 root 2, and the seventh one, that is 1 upon root 7 minus root 6. Okay, so the sums that we have already solved previously are of the same kind. You can try to solve it by yourself also, or I am solving it here for you also. Whatever the thing you require, make it comfortable for you. So here it is, the question 5 upon root 3 minus root 5. Right? Now, as we discussed earlier, we shall follow the same method upon root 3 plus root 5. Note that what we shall do is we shall simply change the sign of the middle term and then we shall write it down. Okay, so that is, see friends, till now all the sums that we solved here before, that is second, third and fourth, had the numerator as 1, but here it is 5. So what we shall do, we shall multiply by 5 to the numerator of the second term, multiplied by root 3 minus root 5 into root 3 plus root 5. Okay, that gives me 5 into root 3 plus root 5 divided by, that will give me root 3 square minus root 5 square. That is the result number 3. Right? Okay, that is equals to 5 into root 3 plus root 5 divided by 3 minus 5. See friends, you can also multiply this 5 inside. 5 into root 3 plus root 5, that will give me 5 root 3 plus 5 root 5. But rather than multiplying, I shall keep it as it is, because there is no use of multiplying there inside. Right? That will give me 5 into root 3 plus root 5 divided by 3 minus 5, that is minus 2, and that is equals to minus 5 by 2 into root 3 plus root 5. So that is my answer. Okay, minus 5 by 2 into root 3 plus root 5. So in this way you can simplify this if you are having numerator other than 1. There is no new method to solve this kind of sums. We are going to follow the same old method. Now friends, see here I am having a real number with a compound irrational number, that means 3 root 2. So again I shall follow the same method, 1 upon 7 plus 3 root 2 multiplied by 7 minus 3 root 2 upon 7 minus 3 root 2. Right? We shall simply change the sign of the second term, that is 7 minus 3 root 2 divided by 7 plus 3 root 2 into 7 minus 3 root 2, that is 7 minus 3 root 2 upon 7 square minus 3 root 2 whole square, which is equals to 7 minus 3 root 2 upon 7 square 49 minus 3 root 2 square. See friends, this I am working here 3 root 2 square, that is 3 root 2 into 3 root 2. And as we have seen in the multiplication, the very first topic of today was operation on real numbers, and in that we had multiplying these two numbers. So that is 3 into root 2 into 3 into root 2. So 3 into 3 is 9, multiplied by root 2 into root 2 is 2, which is equals to 18. So you can simply write down 18 here. Right? So that gives me 7 minus 3 root 2 upon 31, and that is the answer, I think. 7 minus 3 root 2 upon 31. Okay friends, so that is it about 1 upon 7 minus 3 root, 7 plus 3 root 2. In this way you can perform the rationalizing of the denominator. And lastly, I am having this root 7 minus root 6 that is to be multiplied and divided by root 7 plus root 6 into root 7 plus root 6, right? Okay, so that is equals to square root of 7 plus square root of 6 divided by root 7 minus root 6 into root 7 plus root 6, that is square root of 7 plus square root of 6 upon 7 minus 6, which is equals to square root of 7 plus square root of 6. Friends, got it? Right? And hence we can say that now we know each and every sum or each and every type of sum where we need to rationalize the denominator. Is it clear, friends? So my mistake. So in this way we can rationalize the denominator. The main thing for rationalizing the denominator is simply we need to change the sign of the term that is given in the denominator. If it is plus, then it becomes minus, and if it is minus, then it becomes plus. That means we are going to change the sign of the second term in the denominator, and then we are going to multiply it in numerator and denominator both at the same time. Okay, so that's it about rationalizing the denominator. Now, coming to the last topic of this chapter here, that is a very short chapter, sorry, very short topic, that is laws of the exponents. The book says laws of exponent, but I say it as a game of exponents. Game of exponents. How? The exponents works. Exponents are the numbers that are written in the form of raised to. Right? Those are known as exponents. Suppose if I write 4 cube or 4 raised to 3, that means this 3 is my exponent here. If I write 3 raised to 5, this 5 is my exponent here. If I write 7 raised to 2, this is my exponent 2 here, right? That means these are all the exponents here that are to be understood, and the laws of exponent, they are given by, there are some 3 or 4 basic laws that we need to understand, and then we need to use it in the examples, because this will be helpful. These laws of exponents will be helpful to you in many more topics, and rather than many more topics, it is important in many more subjects also, like the physics section in the science subject. The laws of exponent is also available there. You must know that this is also helpful to solve some of the sums over there, and this topic is also important from the future point of view, right? So the first kind, if I am having the numbers in multiplication where the base of the numbers are same and the powers of the number, that means the exponents of the numbers are different, at that time, if it is in the form of a raised to m into a raised to n, then the base will get common and the powers will be added, right? Let me say, for example, if I am having 4 raised to 3 multiplied by 4 raised to 2, then that will be 4 raised to 3 plus 2, which is 4 raised to 5. Right? So in this way you can also add the numbers or add the exponents. Right? So if it is a raised to m into a raised to n, then the answer that would be a raised to m plus n. That is a raised to m plus n. Example, 4 raised to 3 into 4 raised to 4, that is 4 raised to 3 plus 2, that is 4 raised to 5. Then the second one, if we are having a number a raised to m and the whole power is n, then the simple thing can be written as the same base with the multiplication of the powers, that is m plus n, right? Let me say, for example, if I am having a number 4 raised to 3, whole raised to 2. So this can be written as 4 raised to 3 into 2, and that is 4 raised to 6, right? So that becomes 4 raised to 6. The third thing is, if I'm having a number a raised to m upon a raised to n, then this simply can be written as a raised to m minus n. See friends, here m minus n, that means the exponent in the denominator will be subtracted from the exponent in the numerator. That means a raised to m upon a raised to n will be equals to the common base a, and the exponents will be subtracted. That means the exponent of the denominator is subtracted from the exponent of the numerator, a raised to m minus n. And if I am having the example like a raised to m into b raised to m, right, then see here friends, the bases are different but the exponents are same, the powers are same. So in this case the bases will be multiplied and the power will become common, right? Let me say for example for the third one, that if I am having 4 is to 3 upon 4 is to 1 or 4 is to 2, let me take 4 is to 2. At that time the base will become same as 4 raised to 3 minus 2, and that is 4 raised to 1, or you can simply say 4 raised to 1 as 4 also. In the last one, if I am having 4 raised to 2 into 5 raised to 2, that will become 4 into 5 whole raised to 2, and that is 20 raised to 2. Right friends, so in this way you can say that the laws of the exponents work. Let me explain it again to you, that if we are having a number a raised to m into a raised to n, then the base will become same and the powers will simply be added. That means a raised to m into a raised to n is equals to a raised to m plus n, right? The powers will simply be added. Similarly, if I'm having another question like a raised to m whole raised to n, the power n is whole of a raised to m. In those, or in this case, it will be a raised to m into n, right? The base will be same in all four questions. The basis, sorry, in first, second and third questions the basis will become same or will become common, and only the powers are being added, subtracted, divided, multiplied, or anything what is happening here. Okay, so this is a raised to m whole raised to n equals to a raised to m into n, a raised to m upon a raised to n. Again the base will become same, that is a raised to the exponent of the denominator is subtracted from the exponent of the numerator, that is a raised to m minus n. And lastly, we are having two numbers multiplied with the same base, sorry, different base, plus but same exponent or same power. In this kind of question we shall have the bases multiplied and the power will become constant or common. Is it clear? So these are the four laws of exponent that you need to remember, and then we shall work out on some of the examples here. Okay, so I'm going to erase this. Please note down this friends, so that you can come to know the examples. Okay. See friends, if you want to note down these things, then you can simply pause the video and then you can note down, or if you don't want to note down right now, then you can simply pause the video and take a screenshot of this, and then you can note it down later on. The screenshot is available in the gallery, you might all know here, right? Now we shall solve some examples related to this laws of exponents. The first one is evaluate, or let me write down, evaluate first one, 9 raised to 3 by 2. Second one, 32 raised to 2 by 5. Third one, 16 raised to 3 by 4. Fourth one, 125 raised to 1 by 3, and the fifth one, that is 64 raised to 1 by 2, right? See friends, these are the simplest ones first I am taking, then we shall go for the mathematical purpose. Now 9 raised to 3 by 2. So first of all, what I am going to do is I am going to write down 9, the base, in such a way that the power of this 9 is exactly same as the denominator of the exponent given, right? That means this 9 can be written as 3 square raised to 3 by 2. See friends, I have written 9 as 3 square. Actually, there is no other way to write down 9 rather than writing it as 3 square. But I am writing this 9 such that the power of the number here is exactly same as that of the denominator of the exponent given. So this can now be written as, it is of the form a raised to m whole raised to n, that is a raised to m into n. So this 2 and 3 by 2, this can be cancelled. So that becomes 3 raised to 3, and that is equals to 27. Is it understood friends? Right, this 2 and 2 can be cancelled because this 2 here is in the numerator and this 2 here is in the denominator, and both the numbers are multiplied like this, writing it 2 into 3 upon 2. This 2 and 2 are cancelled, right? This is the same way that is written here on the powers. Again, I am writing this 32 raised to 2 by 5. So what I am going to do, I'm going to take the base, that is 32, and I'm going to write that 32 in the powers such that it is same as that of the denominator of the given exponent, and that is equals to 2 raised to 5 whole raised to 2 by 5. So again it is a raised to m whole raised to n, that is 2 raised to 5 into 2 upon 5. This 5 and 5 can be cancelled, that is 2 raised to 2, which is equals to 4. Is it clear friends? See, these are very easier for us to solve it right now. Here again we are having 16, so I shall write it as 2 raised to 4 whole raised to 3 by 4, which is 2 raised to 4 into 3 by 4. This 4 and 4 is cancelled, that is 2 raised to 3, which is equals to 8, right? Now coming to this fourth one, again this is 25, that is 5 cube raised to 1 by 3, so that can be written as 5 upon 3 into 1 by 3. 3 and 3 can be cancelled, so that is equals to 5 raised to 1, which is equals to 5. And the last one, 64, that is 8 square raised to 1 by 2, that is 8 raised to 2 into 1 by 2. 2 and 2 can be cancelled, that is equals to 8 into 1, or 8 raised to 1, that is 8. So these are the answers to this solution, sorry, these questions for finding out the values of these exponents or these numbers having some rational powers. 9 raised to 3 by 2, 32 raised to 2 by 5, 16 raised to 3 by 4, 125 raised to 1 by 3, and 64 raised to 1 by 2, right? See friends, in each and every question here we have written the basis such that the powers that we express, the powers of the numbers that we have expressed for the base are exactly same as that of the denominator of the given exponent. Okay friends, so that is about how to evaluate this kind of sums. Now we shall work on some of the sums that are based on the laws of the exponents. Okay, now sums related to these laws of exponent, I am having some of here right now with me. 2 raised to 2 by 3 multiplied by 2 raised to 1 by 3. The second one, I'm having is 3 raised to 1 by 5 whole raised to 4. The third one, 7 raised to 1 upon 5 divided by 7 raised to 1 upon 3. The fourth one, 13 raised to 1 upon 5 into 7 raised to 1 upon 5. Let us solve for now this much, and then we shall solve the rest of the things. Right? Okay. So, friends, the first one is the same base and that are being multiplied here. So, what can you write about this? Okay, the base will get common and the powers will be added, that is 2 upon 3 plus 1 upon 3, right? So that is 2 raised to 2 upon 3 plus 1 upon 3, and that gives me the common denominator 3 in both the fractions, that is equals to 2 raised to 2 plus 1 upon 3, which is 2 raised to 3 upon 3, that is 2 raised to 1, and this can be written as 2. So finally friends, 2 raised to 3, 2 upon 3 into 2 raised to 1 upon 3 can be written as 2. Here the second one is a raised to m whole raised to n. So this will be simply 3 raised to 1 upon 5 into 4, and this is 3 raised to 4 upon 5. There is no such requirement to evaluate this, what is 3 raised to 4 upon 5, because you cannot get the fifth root, or you cannot simply find out 3 raised to 1 upon 5. The third one has the division part, which means common base and the exponent of the denominator is subtracted from the exponent of the numerator. So that will give me 7 raised to 3 minus 5 upon 15, that is 7 raised to minus 2 by 15, right? And that is the answer. See friends, I am solving this quickly so that you can come to know how to simply solve it, because these questions are not being asked in 3 marks or 2 marks. These questions are simply asked in 1 mark, rather than finding out the values, fill in the blanks, true or false or anything like that. So you can be sure that how to solve these sums. I already explained these laws by taking examples when we have written the laws here, and here we are going to simply solve them. See friends, here we are having the fourth law of exponent. Here the powers are same, the exponents are same, and the bases are different. That means 13 multiplied by 7 raised to 1 upon 5, and 13 into 7 you all know that is 91, so that is 91 raised to 1 upon 5, right? That is the answer of the fourth one. Okay friends, so that is how we can see the first one is of the first law, that is 2 raised to 2 by 3 into 2 raised to 1 by 3, a raised to m into a raised to n, that is a raised to m plus n. So simply adding the powers we get 3 by 3, that is 1, and hence the answer is 2. Second one is of the second law, that is a raised to m whole raised to n. A raised to m whole raised to n simply means the multiplication of the powers taking the common base, that is 3 as the common base, and the powers 1 upon 5 multiplied by 4, so that is 3 raised to 4 upon 5. The third one is of the third law, a raised to m upon a raised to n. That simply means making the common base and the powers will be subtracted in the sense the power of the denominator, the exponent of the denominator is subtracted from the exponent of the numerator. That means taking the common base 7 raised to 1 upon 5 minus 1 upon 3, cross multiplying 3 into 1 3 minus 5 into 1 5 upon 5 into 3 is 15. 3 minus 5 is minus 2. So finally we get the answer 7 raised to minus 2 upon 15, right? This is in the power, this is in this minus 2 upon 15 is in the power of 7. And finally we have a question where 13 raised to 1 by 5 multiplied by 7 raised to 1 by 5, that gives me the basis as different but the same powers, that is 13 into 7 raised to 1 upon 5, that is 91 raised to 1 upon 5. Is it clear? Okay. Now friends, let us discuss one or two of the same kind. The fifth one, that is 1 upon 3 raised to 3 whole raised to 7. Sixth one, that is 11 raised to 1 upon 2 upon 11 raised to 1 upon 4. And the seventh one, that is 7 raised to 1 upon 2 and 8 raised to 1 upon 2. Right? Note that friends, here the questions are of the same kind, but rather than the fifth one, the fifth one is somewhat of a different kind. So what can we write down here? That this numerator here is 1. So how to solve this one? So we have already studied that any number has a power 0 can be written as 1, right? If any number has a power of 0, then I can write that as 1, but in place of 1 can I write any number with a power 0, right? Rather than writing any number as a power 0, I shall write 3 raised to 0. Why? The question you will arise, or question you will have, sir, why did you write down 3 raised to 0? The reason behind writing 3 raised to 0 only is, look at the denominator of this fraction, that is 3 raised to 3. The base in the denominator is 3. So to subtract or to use the third property, I shall write the numerator as 3 raised to 0 also. So now I can write down this as, sorry, this as 3 raised to 0 minus 3 whole raised to 7, right? In the fractions part, what we have did, if the base is same and the powers are different in the denominator and numerator both, then we shall make the base common and we shall subtract the exponent of the denominator from the exponent of the numerator. So that is 3 raised to 0 minus 3, that is equals to 3 raised to minus 3 whole raised to 7. Now we shall use the second property here, a raised to m whole raised to n, that is a raised to mn, that is 3 raised to minus 3 into 7, that is equals to 3 raised to minus 21. That is the answer here, 3 raised to minus 21. Okay friends, so in this way you can write it down. Now you simply remember that if it is 1 upon 3 raised to 3, then this can be written as 3 raised to minus 3 also. Right? This is the short one, but how that 3 raised to minus 3 has come here, that you need to perform in these two steps. So 1 upon 3 raised to 3 can be written as 3 raised to minus 3. Or if you don't remember that, then you can simply perform these steps here. But you need to understand that 1 can be written as power of any, sorry, as 0, or 1 can be written with 0 as the power of any number. Okay, so that is 1 equals to 3 raised to 0 upon 3 raised to 3, that is 3 raised to 0 minus 3, that is 3 raised to minus 3 whole raised to 7, which gives me 3 raised to minus 21. Okay, coming to the next one, here we are having 11 raised to 1 upon 2 upon 11 raised to 1 upon 4. So that will give me 11 raised to 1 upon 2 minus 1 upon 4. So that is equals to 11 raised to 4 into 1 4 minus 2 into 1 2 upon 4 into 2 is 8. That is 11 raised to 4 minus 2 is 2 upon 8, which is 11 raised to 1 upon 4. So the answer to the given question is 11 raised to 1 upon 4. Is it clear friends? And the last one, that is again, see, the bases are different but the powers are same. So you can simply 7 multiply 7 into 8 and the power will become 2, 1 upon 2. So 8 into 7 is 56 raised to 1 upon 2. So that is the answer to the given question. Okay friends, so that was the thing about the laws of the exponents. Right, the first law was a raised to m into a raised to n, that is a raised to m plus n. The second law was a raised to m whole raised to n, that is a raised to m into n. The third law was a raised to m upon a raised to n, so that is equals to a raised to m minus n. and the fourth law was a raised to m into b raised to m is equals to a into b raised to m. Okay, so that's it about this topic, and that's it about chapter number 1, the number systems. We have completed all the topics of this chapter number 1 here, right? So you take a look from this video, take a textbook, solve the examples related to this topics that we have covered in this video, in all the three videos, and mind well that the more you practice, the more you get confidence in solving the sums. Thank you.